I'm back before Ndibetwe. I'm already getting messages that I'm quiet, so I appreciate the feedback. But I want to share with you today an article by Juju Phantsi. There are two things I want to mention about this article. Firstly, just to note, this guy's name Juju. Um, some would call him Juju affectionately in the current day politics in South Africa. And then his father's name was Uphansi. Then his name became Juju Phansi because at that time, bezingekho surnames, they didn't have surnames. So it's another historic fact that we need to look at. Why do we have surnames? Why? Who benefits, or what was the intention for us to have surnames? Because we really didn't have surnames, and this is important when people are trying to find their background, ukuzilanda, and all of that. But we'll leave that for another day. But it's important just to note it today. What is important about this guy, the second point I want to make, is that he teaches us how Xhosa prayed before the missionaries, before they were converted. And he said that, first of all, in some of the text here, first of all, there must have been a great national crisis, a great trouble that the nation was faced with. Like Xhosa would be like the Chachabes or the Chalekas. There would be an issue at that level. And men will then be summoned by the king of the day, the paramount chief, to come into the great place, and they come and sit in a circle. Njengoba sisahlala ngolo hlobo namhlanje xa kukho imisebenzi, it is secular formation, and then they would actually pray to Qamata, who is regarded as a god outside the understanding of a god from the missionaries, from the Christian perspective. And this setting has a system, has a program, a protocol. The protocol, number one, is that you sit in a secular format and you are all men, and that the first person to speak, and there will only be 3 people who would actually make petitions in the seating. The first person to make their petition to Qamata would be one of the youngest guys in the circle, who would make a petition and look up to the heavens, as the Christians would probably do sometimes, praying to God. So we did this act. It's not when we look up, understanding that there's a higher power in existence that is up there, and that where we are in distress as a nation, a big catastrophe or a big issue that we wanted to deal with, we do keep to sit together, and we have a program of prayer in that regard. So the young men would start and make their petitions and pray to God, to Qamata, for whatever solution that is regarded. The next person to sit up and pray would be one of the oldest guys, the eldest guys, the elders within the group, who would also do the same thing, stand up and look up to the heavens and pray and petition the Most High, Uqamata, to solve whatever problem the nation faces. And then the last person to speak would be the chief, the paramount chief, or the senior person within that seating, who would look up, also do the same thing, stand up, look up, and actually petition the God to solve the problem that is being faced by the nation at the time. And this is important for us because we almost feel that if we say stop being Christians or are not Christian, we, we cease to pray. And we know for those of us who've been Christian for many years and have had issues maybe with the faith or with the religion or with the people in the faith or the religion, the leaders, we sort of cease to petition the the Holy Spirit, and in this case, or Kamata, or God. And I think it's something that we need to get back to. There's something that we need to admit, that there's a greater power, a greater being that exists, and we know it. We know it because even if you don't want to pray or you don't pray to God, whether you, as Christians would say, have backslidden, or you are basically more of a traditionalist by faith and things like that, there is still a higher power, and we just call that higher power God. We call that higher power Uqamata. And for those who know, I would like to find out what are the translated meanings of Qamata. Who is Qamata? If you can have more text, more information on just the character, the body, the being of Uqamata. What I know from this text by Juju is that Xhosas did concede that there is a higher power that is greater than their chief, and that is greater than Izinyanya. And they also understood that their chief and Izinyanya exist within the reachable realm for them in a daily basis. These are the senior and the authority that they actually petition or speak to. The chief or the king is regarded as a representative of God, or as God-given, or as brought by God to us to lead. So there are certain things that we esimuphulela yona umuntu okhokhelayo in this regard, because we understand that they also fear a higher power, and they also, the kings and the chiefs, also had this view of a supreme being of which they need to also, in a way, appease or petition, or know that they rule over the people for his purposes, or at least with the guidance of his purposes. So there's this sense that there's nothing if you don't actually go to church, or you don't subscribe to Christianity as a traditional person. For me now, this text sort of puts it, it just buries it for me, and I think it's an important revelation. I realize ukuthi abantu abadala abazazi ezi zinto, abantu abasikhulisileyo ke mhlawumbi ke nothi aba badla ngokwaziwa, mhlawumbi umama umdende and other people that would appear, would come on radio. But most of our parents abazazi ezi zinto, and maybe city that needs to help them to clarify these things to them, because this literature was taken away and was banned at some stage, and our people were taken away from our own context into, labor, migrant labor system and all of that. So we shouldn't fault them too much, but I think it's our time to be able to go deep and dig as much information as possible. And again, if you have any information, please do share. And thank you so much. You really commented and gave me a lot of feedback and support for the post on amaXhosa and the Christianity as a crime scene. So I hope this one is also